Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. I promised you a dog barking in one of these videos that we were going to put out early in 2026, and you've just had it. There you go. That's Katie's dog. What's your dog called, Katie?
His name is Foxy.
Foxy.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, and what is Foxy?
I couldn't tell you. He's a rescue dog, so he's mixed breed. He looks like a little fox. He's ginger with a bushy tail.
Do you know what? We all love Foxy, even though we can't see Foxy already. And I just feel like, even from that description, Foxy has to appear in some of your social media at some point. You know?
He has. I've got some videos of him singing. He sometimes likes to howl along with.
There you go. I'll tell you what. If you're having a bad social media day, just pull out the dog and stick it on social media, and all's going to be well with the world. We'll be coming back to talk to Katie about her life in music so far after this.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Katie, thank you so much for joining me. Now, listen, one of the first things that I noticed when flicking through the old Instagram to find more new artists, because that's what I spend my life doing, it seems.
Yeah.
It was just this fantastic picture of you that you've got on your profile there at the moment. Kind of, it's really dynamic. Are you?
Yeah.
Is that you in a nutshell? Are you quite loud, or are you actually quite a shy person underneath it all?
I wouldn't say I was shy. I like a good time. I like a laugh. I would like to think that my music comes off as quite lighthearted and fun. So yeah, and that photo was taken by a photographer called Daniel Blake in Glasgow last August, and I just really liked it. So
Cool.
Yeah.
If you have a great time on a photo shoot with a great photographer, it's quite liberating, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't actually done loads, but I first worked with Daniel. Well, that was the first and only time I've worked with him so far, but I'm hoping to do it again. He's very, very good.
What's the scene like at the moment up there?
I would say it was pretty good. Like especially over the last couple of years, I've made a lot of closer friends in the music scene, and there's definitely a lot of sort of soloists on the rise, especially in kind of pop. I've noticed there being more of a prominent kind of pop scene in Scotland as of lately. And then I like all types of music, and I really enjoy bands and kind of stuff that's more guitar based as well. And I got to play a festival called Tenement Trail back in October. So that was really good for discovering some new bands. And yeah, I think in general people are very friendly, and there's a lot of really great stuff coming out of Scotland. So
it's always been quite strong for that kind of band side of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that guitar music kind of thing, Scotland's always been pretty pretty dominant in. But it does seem, I remember when I first started doing this about 5 years ago, and I started talking to some Scottish artists that were starting to come up there, and there was a lot of interest of music from Scotland, not necessarily coming out of Edinburgh or Glasgow as well, like other more places like Lothian and Ayrshire were beginning to like get artists coming out on a regular basis, and I guess like more pops coming out of Scotland as well since Lewis Capaldi, especially.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, location wise, like most of the kind of scene is down in Glasgow, but I'm based in Angus, and Dundee area, and I recently got to play a gig with a couple of bands, one called Fada, they're from Thurso, so that's all the way up north, and there's another band that are friends of mine called the Zebecks, and they're from Elgin, so that's up north as well, and it's just
that's
cool
a long way up north.
Yeah, so it's cool to know people that that are kind of dotted out all over the map.
Where are all these people in Scotland, right? Where are they discovering music from? I mean, is it because And are you all trying to escape Scotland, or are you all kind of passionately promoting Scotland?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for discovering, it's a really small scene. I think, I mean, obviously, the more people you get to know in music, you realize the more people that are like interlinked, and it is a small world. But I think, especially in Scotland, it's because it's such a small country. It gets really good when you start to network, and you discover so much good stuff and so many good people through just going to things like other gigs, and you get chatting to people, and I guess that's how I found most new music here, as well as social media.
When did you first start making music?
So I picked up a guitar when I was 10, because I really liked Taylor Swift and I wanted to learn all her songs. And then, kind of within just a couple of years, I started to get really into some other genres and bands. And I was lucky enough to be brought up in a town called Kerrymuir, and the original singer from AC/DC, Bon Scott, he was from here. So we have a lot going on in our town that sort of honours him. We have a festival once a year called Bonfest. We have a festival every year dedicated to AC/DC and Bon Scott, and that's kind of where I got my foot in the door with playing gigs. I got to play at that at like age 13, I think. And I've been gigging and writing music ever since. So, yeah, feel
So
lucky
you're
to have had that on my doorstep.
Bonfest. That sounds brilliant.
It is. It's a fantastic weekend, and if you like AC/DC, you should take a trip up north.
Do they always have an AC/DC cover band playing?
Yeah, so it's like a 3-day festival at the start of May, and pretty much all the pubs in town just fill up with live music. And then in the evening, there's like a bigger showcase of new rock bands and AC/DC tributes.
When did you write your first song?
I think I remember writing. Actually, I remember writing a really silly little song when I was about 7 or something.
Love that.
Yeah, I remember doing it with my friend, and I always knew that I liked music, but as a wee kid, I didn't really like. There's a Scottish in me coming out. A wee kid. Yeah, I didn't really like ever pick up an instrument until I found the guitar at age 10. And I don't know, I think because of my kind of interest in Taylor Swift and the fact that I knew that she wrote songs, I probably started to mess around with writing and lyrics when I was 10 or 11. So yeah, I've always really enjoyed doing it.
It's really interesting when, like, I get young people like yourself on that are starting out in music and whatever, and so often people go, yeah, I didn't start on a guitar until I was like 10 or whatever, and you think that's actually still really young.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is young. I don't know whether you heard any of the news over Christmas. Bless him, Chris Rea died, who wrote Driving Home for Christmas, one of the classic Christmas songs of all time.
Yeah.
And there's if you have a look on Instagram, there's a little reel of him going around where he didn't pick up a guitar until he was in his 20s. And then within a year or two, he was like writing stuff like that. I mean, it's mad. What inspired you to start writing?
I love pop music. I loved listening to the radio. I always knew words to songs growing up, and I really liked watching like stuff on the Disney Channel and things like that, and I really liked the music from that. So
Okay,
know, I
were you pretending to be anyone on the Disney Channel?
not in particular, no. I think when I was a little kid, I was really shy, and I'm always so grateful of music because I feel like it totally sort of catapulted me out of my shell and comfort zone a little bit, and I don't really feel shy at all anymore. But yeah, there wasn't anyone I specifically wanted to be like, except maybe Taylor at that age, and then I started to really get into Paramore and a few other female artists, and yeah, and yeah, still listen to music all the time. I think it's really cool to live in a world where music's so accessible with the internet and things like that, and you can so easily discover so many different types of music and genres. And
what was the moment for you where it changed from being like, I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy songwriting and etc. too. I might actually want to do this as a career.
Honestly, I think from like the minute I started, or the minute I
Really?
first, yeah, or maybe not from when I started playing guitar because I was too nervous to ever play in front of anyone for a few years. But by the time I went and played my first ever sort of performance, or gig, I knew straight away like I want to keep doing this, and I did. All throughout my high school years, I was playing in pubs every single weekend. And then COVID came towards my end of high school, and I was still finding ways to gig. I'd go gig outside care homes, and do live streams and talk to people like yourself, and yeah.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned in that time that's like, held you in good stead?
I think it's something I'm still learning now. It's just to remember why you started. I think the music industry is such a difficult one to navigate. There's not a lot of support for musicians sometimes, and I think it's very everyone that does music is in such different, or are in such different situations. Like there's people that are lucky enough to have come into money, and obviously if you have money in music, it's like so helpful. You can go and do whatever, and then there's some people that have like full on teams around them or managers, and then some people that are completely independent. I think with all those situations, everyone's so different, and it's difficult to remember why you started sometimes when you might not necessarily have that support network, but you've just got to kind of take yourself back to who you were when you first picked up that guitar.
I almost feel like the younger generation kind of really get this now, which is that it's really seen as a business right from the word go as well. I feel like you kind of get the idea that, there are things that you need to do in order to plant success on this. Whereas I think a lot of musicians back in my day just had a group of mates or whatever, and you were just went like, oh, it might be fun to make some music. and then it just kind of spooled into like, it'd be further down the line that like someone would be like, well, we might bring someone along to talk to you about a record contract. But oh, okay.
Yeah. I do
it,
envy that a little bit. I think for me, like I wouldn't have had half the opportunities I've had if it weren't for the internet and how easy it is to contact people online and things like that. But I do often sort of envy my 16-year-old self, and how at the time, like I'd just come home from school and just write songs about my day without thinking anything of it. Whereas now, I think I've kind of accidentally trained myself to think, when I sit down to write, is this going to be the next single, or would this do well on TikTok? And it's such a bad mindset to have. And that's, I suppose, another thing I'm learning lately is to try and let that go and kind of find myself again. And it just goes back to remembering why you started. And I think maybe a lot of people in this kind of day and age and climate kind of lose track of what it is they actually love about music. Yeah. And I've fallen victim to that myself. So
you'll say you're in this process and you're kind of almost learning this right now, but where do you go, or what do you do in order to try and bring yourself back to that place of just writing for the love of writing?
I think lately I've watched quite a lot of music kind of documentaries and listened to a lot of podcasts. I love listening to Song Exploder and Tape Notes. I'm sure you're familiar. And I think kind of more lately I've probably listened to people talk about music more than actually listen to music, and I think it's really fascinating to actually sit down and listen to people breaking things down and why they've made what they've made, and it kind of sparks so many new ideas, and has kind of taught me to think about music in ways that I might not have 6 months ago before ever listening to these podcasts. So yeah, I don't know, I think kind of consuming that has made me think more about music than like the kind of marketing side that we all do these days.
Yeah, I
But
think that's so important. I mean, I've just recorded another show this morning with someone that's challenging herself to listen to like 1,000 albums a year, etc. And I feel like being a listener is an important part of being a creator of music.
mhm,
But also, yeah, that kind of, I feel like in any business, right? But especially for someone that's in music these days, learning to play, and I don't mean like learning to play a guitar or whatever, but just learning to play in terms of how you make music is really fun. Yeah.
mhm, yeah.
Even like, oh look, I found in my my little drawer here by the side one of these. I need to put some new batteries in it, but look at that, the old
Oh yeah, the little
xylophone.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, which you can actually these days you can. It's actually got a MIDI out, and you can actually connect it up to a keyboard and actually do MIDI out with it as well,
Oh cool.
which is quite good. But I just feel like sometimes, just like, you know, when I hear things like Damon Albarn, for example, talking about the fact that he collects instruments from all over the world and he just tries to use them in albums and whatever. I feel like that kind of experimentation aspect is really important to like broaden the way that you write as well. Do you think so?
Yeah, definitely. I think lately I've kind of got into not entirely different genres of music or anything super obscure, but I think I have always tried to keep a very open mind about music when I listen to it. I don't think that there's anything that I wouldn't give a chance listening to, and I like that about myself, my way of thinking, because I think even if you listen to something and you don't necessarily think, oh wow, this is the best thing I've ever heard, it gets you thinking and it keeps your mind kind of exercised and open to what's out there even more. So yeah, I think maybe not for me like collecting instruments are expensive, but definitely I wish I could have all of them and learn all of them.
Another thing I feel like's really good advice to any young musician like you is just to keep writing, right? Even if like a lot of it is rubbish, you know, and you put it to the side and go, well, that just didn't work. But I feel like if you write something and then at least you learn something from writing that one thing that you've written that you're
Yeah,
going to take into a song, I feel like you'll develop your sound as you go. That's
yeah,
the thing. So I think it's just keep going at it, you know. It's like a muscle. It's like anything else. You got to flex it on a regular basis in order to really improve it.
definitely.
So what is Katie Nicoll's USP? If you were selling yourself to the public now, they're trying to, you know, come through Spotify or other streaming platforms are available, and that, you know, they stop on Katie Nicoll. What's your USP? Why should people stop and listen to you?
I don't know. I think one thing I always bear in mind when I'm writing my music is that I love lyrics and I love songs with um lyrics that are relatable. And I'd like to think that like maybe something that I have to say could resonate with someone else and also make them dance at the same time, even if it's over something sad. And I don't know. I think um I would say the music I've got out is pretty fun, I suppose. Nothing's too serious. Um, but yeah, it's really hard to describe yourself.
Do you feel like there's too much seriousness in the world at the moment?
um, yeah, in ways, but I think like just with what I want to make, maybe sorry, I've totally lost my train of thought there. I had like a sentence on my tongue there, and it's just gone. Um, but yeah, I think I really enjoy playing live, and I've loved going and playing my songs live on stage, especially when you have a band and you can see people singing along. And I think the more fun or catchy the chorus is, obviously the more likely people are to sing. And I think, oh sorry,
There he is.
yeah, lost what I was about to say again. But yeah, I think there's nothing more enjoyable than playing a live gig where you can see people that like your music singing along to those kind of simple, catchy lyrics. And um, yeah, it's fun to make stuff kind of lighthearted for that reason.
I feel like we live in, quite dark times in some ways, and I feel like, there's a lot in the world to be worried about, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes we just need a song to come along that just makes us happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel like, and it's not like it can't have a point at the same time. You think great songs like "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" by Cyndi Lauper, right? It's got a great point to it. I mean, it was making a song about, misogyny and sort of sexism, but at the same time, it's an empowering song for women, but everybody wants to dance to it. I feel like those are great songs. And perhaps we need more of those. Perhaps that's your USP. Perhaps you're the next Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah. I mean, like, I do write a lot of sad stuff, and I'm recording one right now actually that's a bit more sad and less serious than what I've put out previously. But yeah, I think overall, like, one thing I really love about music is that it creates community, it brings people together. And I mean, I feel like everything in my life has revolved around music. The people I've become good friends with over the last little while are all musicians or work in music, or I work teaching music at the moment as well. So I feel like it's so integral to my life. And if you can make a song out of an emotion that brings people together, and yeah, it's what I want to do, and what I like about writing and playing. So yeah.
What's on your mission board or your vision board for 2026? We're here at the beginning of a new year.
So I'm hoping to go and record an EP. I'm just struggling right now with writing and deciding exactly what I want on it and how to condense everything I've got down into one kind of body of work. But yeah, I think when you asked about what I feel like I've learned in music, I think one thing I'm learning lately is that I used to get really frustrated over having a bit of writer's block, and if I went through a patch where I hadn't written anything, I'd get really down about it, because, like, as a musician, you want to feel like you can sustain how do you know what I mean? You want to keep writing and releasing, but it's just not always possible for one person to be able to do that all the time. But I was talking to another songwriter lately. She's also from Dundee, and her name is Theo Bleak. And she said a thing to me about how sometimes, like, writers, or she said that she doesn't believe that writer's block is necessarily a thing. It just might mean that you don't have anything to say at the moment. And I think ever since she said that, it kind of made me feel a bit more peaceful about going through those phases where you're not writing much. And I've just kind of trust the process of life and trust that maybe soon, like, I'll have something that I'll really want to say, and then it'll all be worth it, the time off.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I feel like after talking to so many musicians over the last 5 years, and from my own experience as well, I feel like probably the best advice I can give to any musician facing times of writer's block is when it comes, A, don't panic about it. B, go out and do something else. Right? Just be purposeful about doing something else instead. I feel like that's a really important thing. So almost don't treat it like that's not happening. Oh no, what do I do? But almost like put in the diary, well, I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to go and see this. I'm going to go and walk there. I'm going to visit this place where I've never had a chance to visit. I'm going to, I'm going to paint because I've never painted before, or I'm gonna make an airfix model or something, just actually actively do something. Because I think quite often, and I say it to people on this, I help people with social media, and I say it to people on that side of things as well, is people are so concerned all the time about filling their diary with content, right? Content, music, it's all a creative thing, right? But actually what you need to do is you need to fill your diary with life, right?
Yeah.
And then the content will come, or then the music will come. Because when you go out and you like stand on the edge of a cliff and you see something that you've never seen before, whatever, normally you'll be inspired.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the best advice as well. It's just
go out, definitely
do something less. We used to have a program when I was young called Why Don't You? Right, and the little theme tune of it was like, why don't you go out and do something less boring instead? Yeah, switch off your TV set and go. I feel like that's probably still the same advice.
Yeah, I think when you're a creative person, especially a songwriter, like, I think writing songs feels so fulfilling. And when you've written a good song, you feel like you're on such a high, and then when you kind of lose that for a while, you come right back down. And I think, like, I totally agree with what you said. You need to go out and just find other ways to feel that fulfillment, I suppose.
Because it will come back around. It will 100% come back around. Oh, the other thing that you can do, of course, is get together with another musician. That's always a good starting block, because sometimes I think we forget that we need each other in the creative process. So
definitely,
we even at one point we had a band, and we were due to play a festival, but we actually ended up playing as a completely different band because we because we were having a kind of lull in terms of the creative process. We just started this random band for the sake of it with a group of other people, and then it just became a thing. So it just kind of spouted its own energy, really, but that sometimes that's fine. So sometimes you never know. You could be Katie and somebody else at some point during the year. That doesn't matter.
It's like Fleetwood Mac, or
I don't think you want to go through all of those divorces, though.
No, I just mean when people have joined up in the past and it's worked well.
Yeah. I feel like if you could write the songs of Fleetwood Mac without having to go through all of the personal trauma, it would be great. But maybe the songs were so good just because of that, Well, listen, I wish you all the best for the new year. So that's on your board. Are you gonna be playing some live gigs in 2026?
So far I'm supporting Marty Pello from Wet 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 in June up in Pitlochry. So
that's
that will
superb, isn't it?
Yeah, so that'll be amazing. That'll be my biggest gig yet. And I've got a couple more festivals coming up, so they should be really good as well. So yeah.
Have you had a chance to speak to Marty?
No, I haven't. I was actually asked to do the gig quite a while back without knowing who it was that I was going to be supporting. And he was only announced a couple months ago.
Wow.
But no, I'm hoping to maybe say hello on the day, and I'm looking forward to seeing his set.
Cool. So just in sort of preempting that, right? If you get a chance to speak to Marty, what will be the one question that you ask him?
I might have to think about it.
Yeah. He's had quite a varied career, hasn't he? I mean, from where he's done quite a lot of live theatre and stuff like that. I suppose there must be a question in there about, like, how have you found the differences between all of the different types of music that you've done, and what have you learned from all of those? I feel like that's possibly what I would ask him.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that actually doing stuff like live theatre and stuff like that has its own challenges, etc. But something that you can perhaps bring back to when you start doing arenas and you know, other gigs as well. So there you go. Or you could just ask him what it was like to be at number one for so damn long.
That must be some feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't suppose even. I mean, you know, it was a difficult one as well because, like, it was one of those songs. We had that period where Bryan Adams had that long tenure at number one. They had that long tenure at number one, and some people absolutely hated it. So how they dealt with, like, the public supporting them week in, week out by buying this, but also like the kind of backlash against the success. That's possibly a good question to ask as well. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Katie.
Oh, you too.
I thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank
Let's
you.
hope when you do the Marty gigs that lots of new people find you, and by 2027, when perhaps you come back on again, you're a massive superstar.
Oh,
Right?
well, thank you very much.
That would be perfect. That would be brilliant. In the meantime, folks, if you haven't checked out the music of Katie Nicoll, now's the time to do it. If you're listening on Spotify, all you need to do is move your thumb down slightly like that and press the button, and there it is. You're already there, and now you can add Katie to your playlist. Keep the music playing. We will be back soon with more of my music, but until then, from Katie and myself, thanks for listening. Bye for now.